Hello, dear YouTubers. So, today I decided to film the subject, which takes a lot of responsibility to even present it. But I, anyways, decided to do it because I think it's a very valuable subject that I didn't see a lot of discussion on, and I know from the books that it's definitely something that changed my life and kind of made it better. So, I'm going to talk about why embracing the spectrum of sadness and just after making a decision, right decision for you, is going to get you out of stop being manipulative and start living the great life. So, why embracing sadness, a little bit of, I could say, depression and those uncomfortable feelings is going to lead you to completely different life and to be a more lovable person in most situations. And why is that the best way to work on yourself sometimes? So, we all know, by the way, this subject is very complex, and for the start, I have to say, I am admiring myself to film this. This is not for everybody. This is something that just few people will understand and maybe be ready for, because it's total counterintuitive to be talking about this. And I was inspired to film this because depression and the journey in my life that made my life the most miserable made my life the greatest that it could be today. Because I just handle the situation when I need to walk away faster, and I just walk away faster with no strings attached. And yes, then I may feel sad and may feel disappointed, but I know what it means, and I know that hard decisions make an easy life, an easy decision will make a hard life. So better make a hard decision right now and then live an easy life later, not the opposite. So this subject is mostly applicable to relationships, even though you can have a relationship with your vision that you need to divorce from because maybe it's not serving you, it's not your highest potential, it's not your talent, or whatever it is. But it could be, it's mostly applicable to a person. So it could be a friendship, or it could be a relationship like the partnership in business or in life, just love. And sometimes when we see that something is not serving us and we feel in our guts that it's just too hard to make it function, we operate from the belief that life has to be hard, and we keep on pushing on that relationship and that vision, but pushing not with an easy flow, but a really hard flow. Like, all the evidences show that it's going to take 10 times more effort than just walking away, maybe staying with those people who already love us, but to us they're boring, or the other vision that maybe don't look so compelling. It looks pretty much boring from this standpoint because we now have a whole fantasy of what we wanted and we're not getting it. So then we need to divorce that fantasy so we could live life and live powerful, beautiful life and see the vision that is hiding behind the fantasy. So actually destructing the fantasy is pretty hard, and working on your beliefs looks just like that. You're going to experience a lot of sadness, a lot of disappointment, a lot of kind of those emotional states where you just don't feel comfortable. And the best thing and the first impulse is just to act, to be aggressive, to push on people, to push on life. But it just doesn't function that way if you want to live in a flow. And I want to talk about the flow state here. So sometimes actually you can just trace your life and your thought processes and what your decisions and maybe the situations you had in life, is when you walk away from one person to a person who already saw you in all of your potential. I mean, in all of your phases, in a good and a little bit for you bad, and in all of those states, and we consider that person as a boring, because the relationship between us is more zen. We don't have to talk to feel good with each other, but this other person or vision, we need to push, talk, try to make things better, and just fix, so we can keep on having that supply. I'm gonna show just one example of that type of little decision in my life. There were some bigger ones when I need to divorce my whole vision for my future, which was being in computer science, having a diploma. So actually I have even evidence of that part of my life. So it was really hard to divorce that part of myself to awaken as someone who wants to work with people, who is better in sales, who is better in marketing, who is just better in business, who is just better in customer support. And it took me whole of the 4 other years to learn how to be even better with people. But I felt flowing. I felt like I would do it for free. And I I felt frustration, of course, because the things were not aligning. But I felt like the results I'm producing with time get really easy. I don't feel like working, and just money and attention gets on me. And I consider that a flowing state. We maybe can't push through it, because 4 years ago I was another different person. That's why I needed to divorce my vision from then and to marry another better version of myself. And to be honest, from the childhood I always dreamed not to be shy, to be that popular person. I don't think I'm popular, but I have some characteristic of having social skills that help me get something from maybe others easier, because I'm just want to serve, I want to be here, I have enthusiasm, I have energy for it. And actually all of my surroundings, so even parents, sisters, friends were telling me, you're crazy, go the easier route, go with that diploma. And I'm like, I'm going with it, but it just doesn't get me a job. I mean, I'm just sending the CVs, nothing happens. I'm not lazy, I'm actually acting on that. But those CEOs that are interviewing me, they can sense that I'm not 100% in, that I'm someone else with my psychic and with my attention. So actually I had to go through that sadness, disappointed process of me finding my better self here. And maybe I could be really successful in that part, but I would probably not be happy in an office, because I just know how happy I am in the nature, with people, surrounded with that good energy. Some people could not do it. I have friends who are like, I'm admiring you, how could you do it so easy? And I'm like, yeah, I ask myself sometimes that too, and I have no logical answer how. I just love it. That's it. And this life looks so easier and better than the vision I had for myself back then. Nothing wrong with pictures and vision, but sometimes you had to divorce something. Another example of a really good, with a friendship with my girlfriend. So when I opened up my first business, not everybody could be happy for my very powerful and fast expansion. We started to have some problems, not having the subject to talk about. I didn't felt supported, and they did not too. So the best solution for us was actually to separate ourselves and to maybe be a little bit sad and all of those things. But we tried to work things out with time, but it just couldn't. So it's actually a really good thing, because they live something totally else, and it will probably for them be very hard to follow me and how I live my life from day to day, because I changed. So actually I have a name for the friendship that survive all of those life changes, and I have those kinds of friendships today. I'm so grateful that I have it. That's the only word. I'm just so grateful, because that's pure luck. And I call them spiritual friendships. Nothing to do with religion, nothing to do with all of that stuff you heard about it. Just delete all of those definitions you heard about it. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about the flowing relationship. Doesn't have any logic why it survived, but they were always there. Another example. So I was working maybe 2 years ago. I had a job and I really liked the girl I was sitting next to, and we at first was like gliding, having a lot of subject to talk about, and she was just very good. Like I was attracted to her energy, and it just felt natural to sit there and enjoy my time. And with time it started to be dramatical, like between us we're not like in sync with the belief systems and with life, and we could not just accept each other. I don't know why, but we could not. So it started to be dramatic and lots of drama, and at one point I just know that I didn't sit there anymore, and I was jealous. I started to see, like, I know this person for 30 days and I'm starting to be jealous why I can't be around, blah 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 blah. And then I was like, wait, Maria, like there's another girl who always asks you how are you, follows you, looks at your strange videos at YouTube, having all of those things, and you're sitting here to a person who is actually vibrationally telling you that you're crazy and something's not right with you, and not go there to sit in a zen state with a girl who maybe doesn't talk too much and has her own like life challenges right now, and it's maybe not in the most attractive energy, but actually that energy is more serving to you than this here. And of course I made a hard decision to move away and not get in more arguments and drama, just spread a lot of love, of acceptance, and just move away and sit somewhere else. And when you make a decision, it's so much easier. And one of my hardest decisions is to leave the toxic relationship on my 5th year of the college, because I was so investigated into it and my intuition was screaming not to do it. But I was like, I really want to find out what's there. I want to know. I want everything. And it was not serving me. So one day I decided, like, yes, I'm going to suffer. It's going to be terrible, but you're never going to see me again. And I need to finish this. And I'm gonna do a list of the things that are positive about this and negative things outlayer the positive. I mean, it was insane how, in which ratio, 1 positive to 10 negatives. I mean, that's crazy. That's also a relationship. I mean, there's not right or wrong relationship. It was just me choosing to live in such a suffering. I don't know. Maybe it was some kind of awakening or whatever, but I think everything in life serves us. So actually, sometimes I thought I made this subject a little bit closer to you with these examples. It's just sometimes making a hard decision, it's better. And just leaning back and just getting that focus back to you, maybe to the physical part of you, to beauty, to fitness, to whatever you're doing, maybe professional side of you, business, whatever you're doing. Just switch that focus from where you're struggling to yourself back, and leave that person to do the same, and do yourself first so you can be an example for other person. If the other person doesn't choose it to improve his or her life and continue with the same relationship, whatever, leave it. Maybe it will change. You can't change people. That's why I call spiritual friendship, spiritual relate. You can't change them. You can't convince them. You can't say them, but everything's right with me. See, I'm all perfect and you're crazy because you. Then it's the same cycle. I mean, you're telling them what they're telling you. Leave it behind, make that hard decision, move away, step back, work on yourself, still send them love, be very kind to them, talk very kind to them, see the good things in them, but don't spend a lot of time with them anymore, because it's not serving you, it's not serving them. So actually those kinds of things just really improve our life. And if you feel bored, sit in that boredom. Don't go out there and do the things that makes your life harder because you can't handle a little bit of boredom. That's why meditation exists, so you can handle all of the emotional states. And for example, you could have a sexual partner who wouldn't be serving you, and just investigating in that thing, it's going to make you down the rabbit hole. Just sit with your sexual arousement at home. Like sit with it. Don't do anything with it. Let it pass your body. Let it just pass through you. Don't struggle. Don't fight it. It will become stronger. Just let it. If it lasts for 5 days, 6 days, 7 days, 8 days, doesn't care. It's gonna pass. Everything's gonna pass. Happiness passes, sadness passes, the thought processes passes, the bad phases of life passes, the good phases of life passes. So everything is constant transition. And if you see the bigger picture, you're just gonna be happier. And again, I hope I did this subject to make it a little bit closer to you. Again, I know if you're in understanding of this, pat yourself on the back. Like, most people just don't get what I talk about. It's not that I'm crazy or they're crazy or whatever. They're just not ready to have this little subject, and they maybe still have an amazing life. Maybe they will never need this. So actually, if you don't find any value in this video and you're still watching, there's probably something in you that craves for this information. But whether you understand it or not, it doesn't matter. Just keep on living your best life. I send you all of the good intentions, all of the hugs and kisses, and mwah.